Morning. We've just parked up at Lanthwaite Green, where today we're going to do a route of Grasmoor direct. That's Grasmoor there. Our direct route is up somewhere the left hand side of Lawton Gully. Lawton Gully is the big cleft that runs up the centre from right to left. Crossing the road, you'll hit this big wide grassy path. Head down it, and just up here we're going to turn right and start heading up there. Just here. You can see the clear path through the scree at the bottom. That's where we're heading for. So here's the start of our scree path. We're going to head up to the left hand side of Lawton Gully. Under no circumstances do you want to end up in Lawton Gully. Lawton Gully is a very hard grade 3 scramble, so don't be attempting that one unless you're used to grade 3 scrambles, of course. It's a tough route from start to finish, really. Even the scree at the bottom is loose and very steep. Whew. That scree below me, to the left of me, is absolutely horrendous. I've crossed over slightly right and slightly into the heather. It's a little bit easier. Wow, that's steep ground. Whiteside to our left, glistening in the sun. We're looking for a rocky gateway and then a pinnacle above it and a ridge. This scree is taken every bit of energy from me. It's definitely on par with Wind Gap coming down from Pillar into Mosdale or Dorhead Screes. And certainly don't use this direct route as a descent, because you would not want to go down there. The path has now took a route into the heather, so at least we've got something to cling on to. It's still relentlessly steep, and just ahead of me, about there, is that rocky gateway we're looking for. Once we pass the rocky gateway, we'll drop onto a flat terrace that runs across the mountain. Don't go left or right on that terrace. It's not a path, it's a sheep trod. Both directions will lead you into dangerous ground. We need to cross that terrace and then we'll be looking for a pinnacle. We're just heading into that rocky gateway now, just here. Takes us into a grassy rake, leading us slightly right. I'm just above the gateway now. The path clearly swings to the right, and just as it does, you'll hit that terrace that I mentioned, running left and running right. It's a sheep trod, ignore it. It'll put you in dangerous ground either way. It doesn't look the way, but we need to go straight ahead and start climbing up the ridge. This route's in Wainwright's book. I'm following Wainwright's routes. I'd done this route years and years ago with my friend Simon. Somewhere up here we went wrong and we ended up in horrible ground, but I'm trying my hardest to get this route perfect with Alfred Wainwright today. Still can't say his name, can I? We just call him Wainwright. I can't do the Alfred and the Wainwright at the same time. It just doesn't come out right. Alfred Wainwright. We just call him Wainwright. Anyhow, enough procrastinating. We need to go up here. That's the pinnacle above us. And we now have a little bit of hands-on scrambly stuff. Once across that terrace, the route becomes clear again. You can see where people's been. We're 1600 feet up the mountain. There's Crummock Water and Melbreck behind us. Lowes Water in the distance. The Lowes Water Fells. Behind the Lowes Water Fells we've got the Solway Firth and Criffel in Scotland. There's a big rock wall here in front of us. Keep to the left of it and climb up the left hand side here to avoid climbing up the pinnacle itself. Straight ahead of me we're gonna look for a traverse path to the left that takes us up a gully. I think it's just up there beyond Billy. Here we are up this gully. The gully's about 100 foot high and apparently it's quite tight. Nothing technical, just a bit of a scrat. There is a little bit of wet in the gully, so I imagine it freezing up and being quite slippy. Look who's up there ahead of me. We're at the top of the gully now. There's the pinnacle above us. Our path will curve to the left around the pinnacle up a ridge. Up! Go on, lad. Good boy. We're on that curving ridge now. As you can see, there's bits of path all the way up. We're above the ridge now, and we shouldn't be too far off the cairn that marks the top of Grasmoor End. A view down to the Lawton Valley and to Whiteside and Hopegill Head. When I got this route wrong a few years back and ended up in horrible ground in amongst thick heather and rock nearer to Lawton Gully, it's been a bit of a nemesis. I've never really wanted to come back and have another look because it is quite, you know, intricate. There's a bit of route finding to do. I did a bit of homework last night, studied the books, studied a few websites, and today we've hit the route absolutely bang on the line. And what a fantastic route it is when you get it right. Sometimes you just got to exercise them demons. I mean, look at these crags. Wow, what a fantastic place. That's us up. Clear route all the way to the summit of Grasmoor now. The cairn for Grasmoor End just ahead of us. So, my opinion of the direct route up Grasmoor End. The scree at the beginning is absolutely horrendous. I'm thinking you could maybe avoid it a little bit by slogging through the heather either side of the path. Once past the scree and up through that rocky gateway, fantastic route. Absolutely loved it. There's no technical scrambling, a little bit of exposure, but steep as hell. The main thing to consider, I would say, is getting the route right. You really do need to do your homework on that one, you know, to get the route perfect. It kind of goes off all over the place, and if you end up in Lawton Gully over there, you're gonna have serious problems. I wouldn't recommend it as a descent. Anyhow, we're almost at the summit of Grasmoor, where we're going to head down the path past Dove Crags, drop into the Coledale Hause, over to Hopegill Head, and then down Whiteside. The weather behind me now across the Solway Firth and the Irish Sea is clagging in. It's foggy down there now. It's coming this way, so I think we've been lucky to get to the summit. I think we could be in Clag soon. Grasmoor summit, 852 metres. It's a Wainwright, a Burkitt, a Hewitt, a Nuttall and a Madeline. The rain's on me back now. Hopefully it'll just be a shower. We're going to drop down to the path above Dove Crags and then drop off the end of the shoulder below Crag Hill and Eel Crag. There you go, we're at the top of Dove Crag now, where we're going to follow the rim of the crags all the way around and then drop down into the Coledale Hause. It's nicer to come over this way rather than head across the pretty featureless summit of Grasmoor. Much more scenic this way. Just follow the top of the crags here on this path. Most folk that just do the Wainwright bagging have probably never even seen these crags above Dove Crag on Grasmoor. You can see the ridge now up Dove Crags from Gasgale Gill. Another fantastic route onto Grasmoor. The weather's coming thick now. I really am hoping it's just a passing shower, but it's thick in every direction now. That's the west. So we're just dropping down into the col now. Crag Hill's up there in front of me in the mist. Eel Crag on the end. At the bottom of the col here, I could turn either right or left. If I turned right, it would take me across Wandope and Whiteless Pike, where I could drop back down into Crummock Water, but I'd have a bit of a walk at the bottom, so I don't really want to do that. If I turn left, it'll drop me into the Coledale Hause and then up onto Hopegill Head, and then across the ridge of Whiteside, down the front of Whiteside, and then back at the car. So we're going to turn left and do Whiteside, and hopefully that rain will clear off. Somewhere right in front of us we've got Sandhill and Hopegill Head over there. Somewhere over there is Grasdale Pike, and behind Grasdale Pike, Skidder. This is the Coledale Hause below us where we're dropping. Two paths in the bottom here. One will take you up to Hopegill Crag and Grasdale Pike, and this one straight ahead of us up to Sandhill and Hopegill Head. It's a bit of a pull back up from the Coledale Hause to Hopegill Head. Weather's still grim. When I get to Hopegill Head, I'm going to head down Whiteside. I've got videos on YouTube of both Whiteside and Hopegill Head if you want some good views of them, because I don't think we're going to get them today. The summit of Sandhill, 756 metres. It's a Burkitt and a Nuttall. It's not too far now to Hopegill Head. It's up there straight in front of us. The summit of Hopegill Head, 770 metres. It's a Wainwright, a Burkitt, a Hewitt and a Nuttall. We're going to turn left or west and head down Whiteside Edge. There's the summit. Whew. And there's the very intimidating crags down to Ladyside Pike or Grasdale Pike. And that's our ridge off Whiteside Edge. It's going to be slippy, it's all slate up here, so we're going to have to watch what we're doing, and when we drop off the end it's going to be extremely slippy. Not perfect in the rain, but I'm pleased we got up. Grasmoor by that direct route this morning in good weather. This forecast coming early, it was supposed to come in about 2 o'clock. It's only 12 o'clock and it's been raining now for about an hour, so it was about 3 hours early. I don't really have any worries about not getting the views up here. I've been up here dozens and dozens of times. This ridge is one of my favourites in the entire Lake District. But first I need something to eat. I don't fare well with no food in us, as Tracy will confirm. I get a bit grouchy when I'm hungry. There's a few little bypass paths you can actually avoid some of the slippery slate if it's wet. The ridge isn't a hard ridge, you know. If you want to come down the crest, it's pretty easy, but not very nice when it's wet. I've had that flask over 20 years. It's a little bit battered and dented. It's fell down a few crags, fell down a few mountains. Thankfully I didn't fall down them with it. My dad bought me the flask not long after I first started walking on the fells. I don't mean when I first started walking, that would be over 55 years. So yeah, it's kind of old. He bought me the flask, some gaiters and some trekking poles. Allow introduction to the fells. My dad was a keen fell walker. The trekking poles and the gaiters have long since perished, but the flask lives on. We're just crossing Whiteside's east top, 719 metres. It's not the Wainwright summit, it's a Burkitt, a Hewitt and a Nuttall. Just here by this tiny little cairn that I think Dave Austell made yesterday. Dave Austell and Dave Allen, both YouTubers that were up here yesterday. Dave Austell, mountain man, is currently doing the outlying Wainwright fells. If you're interested in them, give his channel a check out. Yeah, so they were up here yesterday. Dave asked us if I wanted to join them, but I was working, so I couldn't. So I hope you had a good day, fellas. And here at the end of the ridge, we've got Whiteside's west top, 707 metres. So it's actually lower than the east top. The east top's the true summit. The west top is Wainwright's summit. So if you're bagging Wainwrights, you need to bag this one. Or if, like me, you like getting to the top of the mountain, you need to do the other one. There you go, that's the summit. The cairns fell down, either that or Dave Austell, mountain man, kicked it down yesterday. Only joking, Dave, I know you wouldn't do that. The true summit's 719 metres, the east top, and the west top, Wainwright's summit, 707 metres. It's also a Burkitt and a Nuttall. Our route off is straight off the front of the ridge over Windben. Just starting to clear down there, you can just see the end of Crummock Water. There's a bit of steep ground off the front of Whiteside. Finishes down there, and then we drop onto Windben and then back into Lanthwaite Green. Across the Lawton Valley, it's cleared out again. Not a bad day again now, a little bit windy, some nice light. Melbreck across Crummock Water. Right on the end here, the tiny summit of Windben, 413 metres. It's not a Wainwright or a Burkitt, I think it's probably a Singe. It's also a fantastic viewpoint if you just fancied a little stroll from the car park. I'll give you a rundown of the route. We set off from Lanthwaite Green this morning, started to ascend up the steep slopes of Grasmoor, direct ascent up to the pinnacle, where you can just see there from the pinnacle to the summit, up that ridge, and then across the summit, drop back down into the Coledale Hause, up onto Hopegill Head. You can't see it, it's in the clag still, across the ridge of Whiteside, and then down the front of Whiteside here. Someone's in trouble. Mountain rescue, air ambulance. We're not far off the bridge now that crosses Gasgale Gill and takes us back across Lanthwaite Green to the car park. So I'm going to wrap my video up here. What a fantastic route. There it is, looking back again. It was a bit of a nemesis to me, this route. 10 years back I got it wrong, and I've always been a little bit dubious. So today we got it absolutely bang on. If ever there was a route I wanted to get correct for YouTube, this was certainly the one. If it failed again today, I wouldn't have even uploaded this route. The route was about 6 miles. If you like my content, please think about giving me a subscribe. Please think about sharing and liking my videos. Drop me a comment, and I'll see you next time. It's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from the rock star who's down there somewhere wanting in the Beck. So today's walk starts from Lanthwaite Green. Heading in the direction of Gasgale Gill, we started to ascend Grasmoor's direct route. Once reaching the top of Grasmoor, we drop down to Dove Crags and then drop down to the Coledale Hause. From the Coledale Hause we head over Sandhill and Hopegill Head, and then started across the ridge of Whiteside, passing up the true summit and then Wainwright summit, dropping down Whiteside, crossing over Windben, and then back down to Gasgale Gill and back to the car.